Good evening, everyone. My name is Connor Shapiro. This is Brielle Leveillé. We're here to talk about health and human rights for Fondé Blanc, Haiti. And for our presentation tonight, we are going to focus on human rights in Fondé Blanc. And for us, we'll talk about political rights as well, but for us, the bigger rights are those in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, social and economic rights, right to food, right to housing, right to health care, those kind of rights. And then with those, we feel that then we can secure political rights. I have Brielle Leveillé here. Brielle was the mayor in Fondé Blanc from 1988 to 2000. He was also a founder of the hospital in Fondé Blanc. He is currently the head of a 600-member peasant cooperative in Fondé Blanc, Haiti. And he is also the public relations director for the hospital there. The hospital and our work is sponsored by the St. Boniface Haiti Foundation of 14 Pond Lane in Randolph, Massachusetts. And the hospital, Brielle's work at the Peasant Cooperative as well, it's all sponsored by that. So any donations tonight or in the future all go towards the hospital and the Peasant Cooperative and other community health projects there. I thought I'd pass it over to Brielle to start, but before I do, just a quick introduction for myself. I've been in Haiti for the last 3 years. I'm currently a Master's in Public Health candidate over at Boston University, and have my eye on returning to Haiti in June to continue working. Brielle and I came in last Saturday and are excited to try and talk about the work that we're trying to do down there, because without your help, it's really not possible. So I'll pass it over to Brielle just to say a few words of introduction, and then we'll go through the presentation.
Bonsoir. Jean et M. Shapiro dit, mon nom c'est Brielle Leveillé. Moi sorti Fondé Blanc, dans le sud pays d'Haïti, en commune Akin. Et Fondé Blanc, c'est un pays qui a 4 sections communales là-dedans. Et c'est le sud pays d'Haïti lié.
So we're still working on the translations. Brielle speaks only Haitian Creole, so I'll translate for him and we'll pass the mic back and forth. Brielle says that his name is Brielle Leveillé and that he comes from Fondé Blanc, in the south of Haiti, in the southern commune.
Depuis longtemps, le pays d'Haïti a confronté des problèmes graves, problèmes politiques qui répétés trop souvent dans le pays.
For a very long time, Haiti has had many grave problems, and that they have had to deal with the issue of poverty for most of its history.
Et problèmes ça ont entraîné des conséquences très graves au niveau économique avec social pays d'Haïti.
And the issue of poverty causes issues that causes political problems as well as other problems within Haiti.
Et problème ça yo la cause en pile paysans pas qu'à vivre bien. Yo doit yo pas respecter en tant comme monde.
Poverty causes a lot of his fellow, as he says, peasants or rural dwellers or farmers in Fondé Blanc. The poverty that they experience means that they don't have their rights respected as people.
Et c'est ça que fait nous ici aujourd'hui, parce que nous voulons changer une situation économique avec sociale pour les gens qui sont pauvres dans Fondé Blanc.
And that's why we're here tonight. We're here to talk about the issues of poverty and social problems within Fondé Blanc because we want to change them and we want your help in changing them.
Avant l'année 83, Fondé Blanc était mal net allé.
Before 1983, Fondé Blanc was a terrible, terrible place to live.
Il y a un prêtre catholique qui était le Père Guelo qui était invité Père comme pour la première fois que tu visité Fondé Blanc et puis depuis les services travail en étroite collaboration qui commençait à porter un changement dans la communauté Fondé Blanc.
Since 1983, Father Jerry Osterman, who founded the St. Boniface Haiti Foundation, came to Haiti and offered his help And St. Boniface was born, and that has brought a big change for the community.
Et au point de vue de la santé, ça était mal en pile. Parce que les gens qui étaient malades dans le fond des Blancs, ils étaient obligés de parcourir 18 km route à pied pour te moun nan branca pour aller Miragouane, aller prendre soin que étaient mérité.
Before 1983, if people were sick, they had to carry their neighbors on a stretcher for 18 kilometers for medical care in Miragouane, and didn't know if they would receive medical care when they got there because it was too expensive.
Nous avons pile de maladies, tant que monde qui est enceinte, fille qui pas coucher, qui a mal d'enfant, nous avons pile qui te kon mourir. Nous avons monde qui te souffrir avec malaria, en pile te kon mourir. Monde qui te kon souffrir avec la fièvre typhoïde, en pile te kon mourir. Monde qui te kon souffrir avec tétanos, te en pile monde qui te mourir.
He says that there were a lot of deaths that could have been averted at that time. We had women in labor who passed away who shouldn't have. People who died of malaria, typhoid, tetanus. All these diseases that were completely preventable, but died because there was no hospital.
Et là, nous conscients des problèmes ça. Et là, nous sommes arrivés en 1989, nous avons invité un pile d'amis américains qui venaient ensemble avec Peguelo. Et puis comme ça, ils ont aidé nous pour nous construire le premier centre de santé qui est l'hôpital Saint-Boniface en Fond des Blancs. Depuis là, la vie, au point de vue, la santé commence à améliorer.
Since 1989, though, we've had a hospital, thanks to the work of Father Guello, the priest working locally in Fond-des-Blancs, and the St. Boniface Haiti Foundation, that people are no longer worried about dying from deaths that they know are preventable.
Et depuis ça, comme nous commençons à nous sentir en sécurité, parce que avant ça, problème ça yo, c'est qu'on a entraîné grand pile monde qui était quitté pays yo, aller Saint-Domingue. En pile monde te kon quitter pays yo aller Cayenne, en pile monde te kon quitter pays yo aller zone Miami, en pile monde te kon quitter pays à la France à tout l'autre côté parce que pas de sentir en sécurité.
He said those who were able to before the hospital was built would try and flee to anywhere they could, whether it was the slums of Port-au-Prince, whether it was Santo Domingo where they worked on sugarcane plantations for basically slave labor, or whether it was Miami or boat people that we've seen in the news before here in our country. He says that people were fleeing from Fond-des-Blancs if they could, and those who were left almost basically to die.
Et comme dit nous connait là, les monde Fond-des-Blancs commencent à se sentir en sécurité. Il y a un pile monde qui était parti qui commence à retourner Fond-des-Blancs pour venir vivre Fond-des-Blancs parce que connaît les malades à l'hôpital pour aller.
And now people are staying and they have hope because the hospital is functioning, although it needs a lot of help. The village of Fond-des-Blancs, all 45,000, are starting to stick around.
Mais il y a l'autre problème toujours.
But there are still other problems.
Quand nous avons confronté problème social avec économique dans le pays. Nous connaissons le pays d'Haïti, c'est un pays qui est essentiellement agricole. Nous vivons seulement de l'agriculture avec l'élevage.
He says one of the issues is that Haiti depends heavily on agriculture and depends heavily on planting corn and and staple crops, and also depends a lot on keeping of livestock like goats.
Et ça, nous venons remarquer qu'il y a de jour en jour, le problème économique là vient faire nous souffrir parce que dans le pays d'Haïti, c'est tout bagay produit première nécessité pour peuple pour consommer. Tout produit vient monter, tout produit a monter cher.
He says the issue now for our country is that we are in an economic crisis, as we have been for quite a while. And although we have the base of health in Fond-des-Blancs, or some base of health in Fond-des-Blancs, there's still the issue of prices of goods in Fond-des-Blancs being outside of people's reach. So rice, since I've been there 3 years ago, has doubled in price. Cooking oil has doubled in price. Almost everything has doubled in price. And really, people's incomes have not gone up along with the rising costs.
Le problème, c'est la cause, il y a 80% de la population qui vivent la misère, une misère qui est incroyable, que les gens ne peuvent pas supposer, parce que c'est où est-ce regarder ça, où est-ce pas vivre, à vivre entre le monde.
He says, and what we see now is because of these economic hardships, we see a lack of life in Fond-des-Blancs. He says it's a suffering and a poverty that you cannot imagine unless you see it, and you wouldn't want to see it if you did see it. It's the worst living conditions he can imagine, and that's why he's here tonight, is to describe them and ask for help.
Et c'est ça que fait nous-mêmes, nous travaillons ensemble avec les gens qui sont bas, qui sont pauvres, nous formons des coopératives, ensemble avec Saint-Boniface, qui aident nous pour nous essayer, au point de vue social, si nous changer la vie de quelqu'un.
He says that's why we've started a grassroots organization within Fond-des-Blancs to try and band together and come up with things that they can do together to work against the economic, Brielle has called it in the past, an economic dictatorship or economic slavery in a way, so that people are really forced into this corner. And he says the only way we feel we can get out of it is to band together and work as the poor, and he has led the poorest of the poor to band together and work with St. Boniface to try and ameliorate the situation.
C'est ça que fait l'année 1994, pendant que j'étais Kazek, moi l'État haïtien sont l'État qui pauvre, nous pas de gagner de l'argent pour nous capables de servir la population. Nous avons formé une organisation qui est c'est RATRAP, c'est Rassemblement des travailleurs paysans, et c'est moi-même qui coordonnateur.
And he says that's why in 1994 we started an organization, the acronym is kind of funny in English, called RATTRAP, but it really means Rassemblement Travailleurs Paysans, which is the bringing together of peasant workers, because they realized that the state wasn't going to come through for them, and they wanted to create something from their own community that was based in democracy and that was based in trying to help each other out. And so they started this grassroots peasant cooperative that, despite all the political coups that you hear about all the time, continues to thrive and move forward with funding.
Et depuis là, ça nous commençons à travailler avec eux, nous commençons une sorte d'amélioration. Et au point de vue projet, nous avons un projet Cabrit. Nous commençons pour nous garder Cabrit pour vendre Cabrit pour gagner de l'argent pour lever les gens.
He says, so we've started some projects with the funding of St. Boniface. We have a GOAT project, and the GOAT project has meant that some people have been able to pay for their schooling. And I think before Brielle continues, I'm going to try and interrupt him just to conclude quickly on an introduction, and we'll talk about those topics later as we go through it. We have a slideshow. So I think we'll go through the slides and also show some of the pictures and then go back to more of the things that Brielle has been working on. Et Brielle, moi pense si nous capable parler une petite conclusion, nous capable montrer photo, nous capable connaître situation en Haïti en gros, et nous capable parler de projet après.
OK. Et c'est tout projet ça nous mettre sur pied, c'est eux-mêmes qui a aidé la population ensemble avec Saint-Boniface, mais seulement nous manquer moyen nous coûte, c'est ça que nous chercher fonds pour retourner Fond-des-Blancs.
I think this is going to be a recurring theme for those of you watching at home and those of you in the room as well. Brielle says, there's lots of projects that we're working on. There's lots of projects that we can work on. The hospital can grow, but what we're missing is the means for that to grow. He says the volonté or the desire is there, but the funds are missing.
Nous avons montré quelques images qui pour montrer une situation pays Fond-des-Blancs qui en est.
Now we can show you some photos so you can see the situation in Fond-des-Blancs. Just some quick Haiti background. The transitional government with UN peacekeeping forces since President Aristide's departure in February 2004. It's actually the government is no longer transitional. It's President Preval, who was there from 1996 to 2000 and was a friend of Aristide's during his time in office and has been voted back in by the population and with sponsored UN elections. 76% of the population lives on less than $2 per day. More than two-thirds of the population is unemployed, and in Fond-des-Blancs, the only real source of employment is a local cooperative sponsored by an organization out of Gloucester, Mass. That does some artisanal work, and the hospital. The hospital is by far the biggest employer in the village. In a village of 45,000, the hospital employs 90 people. The life expectancy is 52. In the United States, I'm just looking up in the CIA World Factbook. The United States life expectancy is about 77. And the adult literacy rate is 52%. In the United States, it's 99%. And in the rural areas, a lot of these where Fondé Blanc is, a lot of these statistics are worse. This is a quick photo that I think says a lot about Haiti and the environmental nightmare that it's facing. On the right, you can see the Dominican Republic. This is a satellite photo. On the right is the Dominican, and this is at the border. The Haitian border is on the left. The Haitian side is the left. The Dominican side is the right. Border, you can see, runs along the tree line. Haitians are so... The poverty is so intense in Haiti that many Haitians are forced to cut down trees to make charcoal and send into the capital for cooking needs. And they make that charcoal by cutting down all these trees. And what Brielle and the Peasant Cooperative in St. Boniface have tried to do is create other means of economic survival and not charcoal, and also at the same time do some reforestation projects as well within the Fondé Blanc area. And you'll see the Fondé Blanc is one of the greener areas in Haiti. Health status of Haiti is infant mortality increased from 73.8 per 1,000 live births in 1996 to 80.3 in 2000. Haiti has been the poorest country in the Americas for some time now, and it's amazing that these statistics continue to get worse and not better. The infant mortality in the United States, for a comparison, is about 6 per 1,000 live births. So it's over 10 times as high. And the other thing that we've noticed in Fondé Blanc is we don't really know where people get these statistics from, because no one ever comes out to the middle of nowhere in Fondé Blanc where it takes 5 hours by car to get there over ridiculous roads. The last 16 kilometers or the last 10 miles take about an hour and a half to get there. No one ever comes out and collects statistics. So in many places that are rural and don't have hospitals, we think the statistics are worse than this. Maternal mortality rate in 2000 was 523 per 100,000 live births. That's a 15% increase from 1995. And 53% of the population does not have access to potable water sources. An incredibly scary statistic, meaning that a lot of these kids that you see here in this picture, these are kids carrying water from polluted sources back home to their houses. It means that many of them are at risk for waterborne diseases like typhoid, salmonella, etc. And it also is, I think, a strong reason why you see such a high infant mortality rate, because of so much childhood diarrhea diseases that could easily be prevented with clean water sources that are not terrifically expensive. Looking at the overall health system in Haiti, health services reach between 40 and 60% of the population, and that's a very high estimate, I think. A lot of these health services charge a lot of fees to go to the hospital to get medical care, and so it's quite scary to think about all the people who can't actually pay even if they get to a hospital, and then the others who don't even have a hospital in their area. The St. Boniface Hospital in Fondé Blanc, as we'll tell you later, is supposed to cover an area of about 45,000. Right now we're covering an area of about 250,000 with 33 beds. Because there's no other hospitals that are functioning in the area at the same level as St. Boniface, and we also have a lot of services that they don't offer, and our prices are incredibly low, close to free. And it's basically only us and Partners in Health, Paul Farmer's hospital up in the Central Plateau, that have these kind of low costs. Another statistic is that estimated that 40% of the population relies on traditional medicine. And one of the things Brielle and I like to dispel when we come out and talk in the U.S. is that a lot of people talk about Haiti and they talk about voodoo. And there's this idea that Haitians won't accept medical care because they believe in voodoo. What we believe, the reason why they have these traditional beliefs still, is because they've never been exposed to Western medicine, because people haven't had the hospital care that they should have. And so we find that within our own community, people have completely accepted the hospital and completely gone over the traditional belief system because they see that it works. And they also see that we work with them and with community interventions. And the third statistic is that 2.4 physicians per 10,000 people, and that's probably lower I'm sure that that's way lower in the rural areas, perhaps at 0.5 or 0.25 physicians per 10,000 people. And there's 1 nurse per 10,000 people, and 35% of physician population has been lost to brain drain, especially with the coups, all the violence. physicians who are able to go to the United States, a lot of them take that opportunity in order to protect their families, especially because a lot of them work in the capital where the violence is quite strong. In the rural area in Fond-et-Blanc, there is no violence, as safe as Concord or safer, because of the incredible unity displayed by the population there. So, seeing all those statistics, now we go to the hospital that St. Boniface Haiti Foundation has developed with the community. And here it's the Centre de Santé St. Boniface. That sign is being changed to the hospital St. Boniface. It was about time now that we're serving. It means health center, but we've changed it to the hospital because now we've got 33 beds and 250,000 people relying on us. The inside of the hospital, this was taken in the late afternoon as I was sprinting to get all my stuff packed to come back to the States. Usually it's packed beyond belief around all these corridors and you can't walk through. This is the pharmacy, people waiting to get their medication. We also have a functioning lab. And also one of the more exciting things is we have a completely Haitian staff. And we have people from the capital who come out and are willing to make this trek every single week and then go back to the weekends to their families. So they come out 5 hours for work every week, live at the hospital, and then go back to see their families in Port-au-Prince. And this is Dr. Pierre, a pediatrician, who's actually visited Concord before, a couple years ago with me. And he's giving a talk to all the staff on malnutrition. You can see up here, it's Kwashiorkor. And he's going through all the signs of malnutrition and talking about the complications and those things. We sometimes will have kids in the hospital who look like they are 2 years old, but are in fact 5 years old due to the incredible malnutrition, and sometimes have to spend 2 months in the hospital. Now, what we really focus in on is a community aspect to healthcare. Understanding that the hospital in many ways is a Band-Aid and incredibly important in its own right, the community also has levels of prevention that we can work on, given the right funding. Now, recently we got a grant from the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, and we're able to install an antiretroviral care system within the hospital, and then also got money from within that grant too to do work in the community. Here are two counselors. They look a little upset in that picture. I didn't realize that when I posted it. They're usually very happy and terrific counselors. The woman on the right is Miliane Glod, and she is responsible for the social services part of the AIDS relief program. And an anonymous donor here in Concord gave money towards that social services program. And now we're able to take, what we find is that a lot of the HIV patients have fallen into HIV because of the poverty that they face daily. There are many women who are forced to take risks that they wouldn't normally take in order to feed their families. And so what we've tried to do is cut the cycle of poverty so that we can also cut the cycle of AIDS. And so she works on getting kids into schools, kids of parents who are HIV positive. She pays some of their transportation for them to come. They ride out in the back of a pickup truck that also doubles it as a bus, and they ride 3 or 4 hours, and she pays for their rides. She helps them with their housing if she can, if we have enough money, and she also tries to help them with infant formula as well if they're mothers, HIV positive mothers, so they don't transmit the virus through the breast milk. On the right is Esther, and Esther is another counselor who counsels people on the testing before and after their HIV test. Now, this is some of the community organizing that we've done to battle HIV, and this was actually on December 1st, and some of you might be familiar, December 1st is International AIDS Day, so we organized, thanks to the funding of PEPFAR, we were able to organize this big Ra-Ra band. And the Ra-Ra band is a very traditional form of entertainment in Haiti, and they go around, all around the village roads, singing and dancing, playing PVC piping, and basically just trying to, in this picture, they're getting the message out that it says, "Moun ki gen sida, c'est frère nous." Those who have AIDS are brothers. It's an anti-stigma message, and Sesenu Ede Yo Vive. And it means there are brothers and sisters, help them to live, because we're trying to battle stigma. And at the end it says, Tout Mun Se Mun, which is a strong human rights phrase used quite a lot in Haiti, and it means all people are people. And there's all kinds of other things here. It says things like there's medicine now at the hospital, so you should get tested. Before we had medicine, most people didn't want to get tested. As one person said, it was like a straight shot to the graveyard. And so now with the medicine, people know they can start to treat it more like a chronic disease. And so they're therefore much more willing to come to the hospital, get tested, and are much more willing to accept the prevention method, the prevention message from the counselors. So we're able to identify those who are HIV positive and hone in on trying to help them not pass the virus on to others. Other things say, down with AIDS, up with health. Just a quick picture of the band. That's an accordion, in case you're wondering. This is the nighttime gathering we had after the march to get all the educational message out. Our doctors participated, our nurses participated, which is very normal. Weekly, our doctors and nurses are participating in community health activities to try and rally everyone around prevention messages and messages about coming to the hospital. And actually, that makes the crowd look kind of small. It was the whole market. This is the whole unfinished marketplace, and it was packed. Probably 600 or 700 people who were there, and they came from as far as 10 kilometers away. And here is another part of our community activities, and these are young people getting involved in a play that one of the young people there wrote themselves about the risks of AIDS, and then they presented it to the crowd. And on the back here it says, the test is free, the medicine is free, take care of yourself. So really encouraging people to get tested. And the story that they had in the play was of an orphan child who's forced to fend for herself. She's promised all these things by an older man, and the older man doesn't come through, but what he does give her is HIV. And so it talks about the stigma against that girl, what she could have done to prevent herself from getting HIV, and also talks very strongly about the realities that young women face in Fond-des-Blancs. We find that the majority of our HIV positive cases are female. Now I'll pass it over to Brielle, who is going to go through some slides about some of the social services the hospital works on, in addition to the other things that happen.
Oui, et ça nous fait dans la communauté, c'est marcher, garder la situation où nous vivons, et puis après ça, nous-mêmes pour nous porter solution.
What we do in the community is to walk and see how people live, so that we can try and find a way to bring a solution for them, for their problems.
On a regardé famille, ça sont localités qui est les Capins. Alors c'est famille Mounsaï, famille pauvre, Caplis, nous regardons mais Mounsaï. Si vous regardez Kaila, c'est plus bon Kaila qui est capable de gagner la communauté, mais gagne plus mal.
Brielle says, we're walking to this poor person's house, and what's interesting about this house and the area is, Brielle said, in Capin, which is about 5 kilometers from the hospital, but still within Fond-des-Blancs. What's interesting about this house on the left here is it looks terrible, awful. No one should have to live in something like that, but it's one of the better houses in that area.
Et c'est toujours qu'à penouiller. Et grand monde ça sont grand monde qui les noc et puis sont grand monde qui gagne 90 ans mais grand monde ça l'oblige à couper petit bois pour faire charbon pour capable vivre.
This is Enoch. He lives in Capin. He's 90 years old, and his only means of supporting himself is cutting down trees and making charcoal. And it's not much of a living, as Brielle says. You can see that he's not in a terrific state.
Alors, comment dans l'église, nous avons formé un comité que les messagers de l'amour, alors, responsabilité par nous, c'est marcher, garder mon et puis porter qui choisit pour eux. C'est ça que fait nous aller capé, aller garder qui en la vie, et puis après, nous porter qui choisit, messager de l'amour, porter qui choisit pour lui.
Yeah, that's why Brielle says he founded within Rat Trap, within the Peasant Cooperative, an organization called the Messenger de l'amour, or the Messengers of Love. And they go around and they try and identify problems and bring them to St. Boniface for them to try and bring a solution to the situations like this one here.
Ok, oui, grand monde ça c'est presque c'est grand monde qui pas qu'on a à l'hôpital facile et puis il pas qu'on manger facile pour manger. Là nous gagnons pour bali et puis là pas gagner tout, il pas gagner monde qui pour prendre soin lui, il pas gagner monde qui pour balan et puis c'est parce que c'est monde qui est mort la fin.
He said the sad story of Enoch is he died last year. He died, Brielle feels, because he said, you know, there's no he says the medical term should be he died of poverty. And he didn't have enough food to eat, and we tried to support him, but we're lacking the means.
Si nous regardons deux petits gens, c'est des gens qui marchent 5-6 km sous bourrique pour aller chercher de l'eau. Chaque jour, ils sont obligés de chercher de l'eau, pas de l'eau dans le fond des blancs. C'est ça qui fait qu'on est là, nous obligés à chercher fond pour nous capables de faire des puits artésiens, pour nous capables de faire de l'eau pour boire.
Brielle says that these two girls here every day walk 6 or 7 kilometers for water, meaning 4 miles about to get their water every single day. It takes up a lot of their day. And he says that's one of the reasons why we're here in the U.S. is we're trying to work on situations like these. We have the programs written, but we need the funding to try and bring water sources closer to people like this so they can have the time to go to school.
Et là, nous regardons des familles, nous regardons des cailles, nous voyons des cailles qui crasent, et puis il y a des gens, pas que des gens, c'est des gens qui ont misé net, c'est parents pauvres, et les petits gens, ça y a le jeu pour contrôler, malgré ça, mais qu'ils sont contents. Ils prennent chaussettes, ils ploient en pile chaussettes, et puis ils fait pour jouer des petits ballons, pour jouer, parce qu'il n'y a pas de moyens pour acheter des ballons.
We know that Concord is very much into sports, so we included this photo, but we also want you to look at the house here on the left. A terrible house, one that when it rains, people can't sleep because there's water all over their floor. But he says you can see the resilience of the Haitian people here too. They may be in a terrible situation and they're incredibly poor, but these kids have put together socks to play soccer, one-on-one soccer. You can see the goal in the foreground and in the background there. And what Brielle says is that doesn't mean that it's right that they play with socks just because they're resilient. It would be better if they had a soccer ball.
Mais ça qui mal là, c'est parce que yo même petit monde ça grand pile là-dedans qui parle l'école, grand pile font des banques ça qui parle l'école, yo pas gain parents pas gain l'argent pour acheter chaussures pour mettre dans pied yo, parents pas gain l'argent pour acheter rad net sur yo, parfois qu'on pas gain l'argent pour manger, puis grand petit monde ça qui parle l'école, c'est ça qui fait plus mal là.
He says what hurts him the most and what hurts us the most is that a couple of these kids don't have the money to go to school. And while St. Boniface has a scholarship program, it doesn't mean it can cover everybody. Probably 50% of kids in Fondé-Blanc don't go to school. And he says, you know, these are kids whose futures are bright, but it means that they need schooling. And there's no well, there might be some free schooling in Haiti, but not in our area. And so St. Boniface is forced to pay for all these kids to go to school.
Et si nous regardons les pauvres paysans, c'est ça que les corvées, ça que les combites, et c'est toujours le même système archaïque depuis longtemps. C'est ça que les sépettes, c'est avec pour sécurité pour faire jardin.
Brielle wanted you to see more about the lifestyle of people in Fondé-Blanc, and this is a group called the Combit, which is an ancient way of working in the garden. As you can see, it's not much of a garden, a lot of rocks, and they're working with sickles. And what actually Brielle didn't say, but I'll explain. The way it works for gardening in Haiti, the communal gardening is that they'll work, say this is this man's land, they'll work this land today, and then tomorrow they'll call everybody together again, and they'll work at this man's land. And they work all the way down the line so that everybody works together in clearing the land and planting the crops and harvesting, if there is a harvest.
Et son pays pas gain arrosaille là-dedans, c'est côté où planter maïs, pitimi avec poids, de laisser si la pluie tomber pour manger donner. Si la pluie pas tomber, manger pas donner, ils perdent toute récolte.
He said, and even though you see them working very hard, the crops that Haitians rely on are corn and millet, which I don't know if anybody knows millet here, but millet you put in usually in bird houses or bird feeders, and also beans. And he says it's not much of a nutritional value anyway, but it's only if the rain falls that they get the food that they need, even after all this hard work.
Et si nous regardons madame ça toujours son un grand monde, c'est lui-même c'est grand petit monde ça et puis c'est monde qui pas manger parfois, il a petite la fait, il quitte le background pour grand occuper parce que là il chercher la vidéo et puis ouais grand petit monde ensemble avec grand ça pas vraiment c'est grand là. Qu'on a ouais petit monde avec petit qui est là vient petit bagaille pour les manger mais c'est monde ça c'est monde qui pas moyen du tout.
This is an incredibly poor family, but normal for the area that we're talking about. And we took this picture because it's a phenomenon that's pretty normal in Fond-et-Blanc. Without jobs and without other sources of income, a lot of the people who are able to work will try and go to Port-au-Prince to try and find work in the slums. And the grandmother here is left to take care of the children. And this child is not getting the food that he needs. And so Brielle just wanted to point this photo out.
Et là, on a regardé mes petits jeunes, ça, ouais, site Kaili. Et là, on a regardé maison, ça, nous, c'est pas, au point de vue humain, où les gens, c'est comme s'ils ne sentaient pas de droit du tout. L'homme, était dans la maison comme ça, c'est comme si les gens n'avaient pas de droit du tout. Son situation, on a cherché moyen pour nous essayer de changer en pile.
Brielle, going back to the human rights theme of this talk, although we haven't hit on it a ton, he says, this is someone who doesn't have any human rights. This house is falling apart. You can see big holes up here, and it's a house that shouldn't exist. And he says, and we will work, and he will work for the rest of his life to make sure that this kind of housing is done away with.
Et en ce Maxime Boniface, nous avons fait presque une trentaine de cas pour les gens qui n'ont pas un cas comme ça tout. C'est qu'on a cherché moyen pour nous arranger l'autre cas qui besoin d'arranger.
He says, with the help of St. Boniface, he has overseen the building of 30 houses in Fond-et-Blanc, and he says, and we want to keep going. We don't have the money, but we want to keep going.
Et ça, c'est un bancaire là, nous voyons c'est ça que les nattes, c'est sous l'île dormi, et puis, mais regardez sur qui est un bancaire là, c'est comme ça, c'est un bancaire là.
He says, and now you can see the inside of the house. This is not built for humans. And this is what people are forced to deal with. This is actually where the person who was living in the house slept.
Et nous, dans le projet Cabrit, là, où nous avons encouragé tout le monde pour capable garder Cabrit. C'est tout le monde, pas dans tout le monde comme ça. Ils regardent Cabrit, c'est là-dedans pour gagner de l'argent. Si parents pas gagné, les Cabrit la fait petit pour capable vendre Cabrit pour acheter le livre avec Rad pour aller à l'école.
He said, he says, we wanted to end with a hopeful picture. And this is a picture of a child with a goat who will take care of this goat and sell it so that he can go to school. And this is a goat project that was started by the Peasant Cooperative with some help from USAID, United States Development Association, but has been lost funding and it now has been picked back up by St. Boniface and is flourishing. It was flourishing before, but thank you USAID, you cut off our funding.
Ok, local ça, c'est bureau attrape. On va regarder animateur qui a fait formation qui a parlé avec Mounio.
He says, we'll finish with questions, but this is the Rat Trap Meeting Hall, the Rassemblement Travailleurs Paysans, the Bring Together a Peasant Worker Meeting Hall. And you can't see here, I had a very hard time with the light trying to catch everybody, but it swings all the way around, so the people are sitting outside for the meeting, and there's over 600 members. And just an aside, Brielle didn't say this, but when I first arrived in Fond-et-Blanc 3 years ago, the meetings were predominantly male, maybe 3 women in the whole meeting. And now, through generosity of an anonymous donor, we have a microlending project in Fond-et-Blanc, and it's focused on women. And now the majority, and this is, you can sort of see in this picture, the majority are female. who come to the meeting because, as Brielle says, females are the backbone of the Haitian family, and they are the ones who will go out and search in large numbers for life. In addition to males doing the agricultural work, but they found that the microlending program for women has given them more power within the family and more equality as well.
Ça, quand il y a un centre de réflexion, côté nous fait éducation civique, éducation de l'environnement pour ne pas couper bois, éducation de l'agriculture, et nous mettons une sorte, depuis les ça, depuis nous mettons une sorte de stabilité. C'est ça que fait Fondé Blanc, nous sentons nous vivre en paix parce que pas un problème politique pas affecté nous, pays à nous sentir à cause de parler avec tout le monde.
He says that this center has become a center for democracy, for civic education, for public health education, for people taking control of their own lives, and being able to start within microlending programs, gold programs, those kind of things. And it also means peace for the people of Fondé Blanc. Everyone comes together, they discuss their problems, there's no police station, we don't have a functioning justice system within Fondé Blanc at all. We have a justice system, but it's scary. And it's sponsored by the state, but it's a local judge that we have that's pretty scary from outside of Fondé Blanc. But people take care of their own problems here. And when we have a peace in Fondé Blanc, where I can walk around, at 2 o'clock in the morning after going out on home visits and feel safe. In Port-au-Prince, it's a different story. We have, I think we've done a good job, Brielle says, of exposing what we feel is a situation that can't stay the way it is, a situation where human rights don't flourish, where political rights don't flourish because there are no economic and social rights. And I'm adding a little bit here, but what Brielle would like to actually say that what it literally said, we've exposed you to the embarrassing situation, and we'd like to hear your questions, if you have any. The question was for next year, a great question. For next year, what kind of improvements are we trying to make to the hospital, and how much do we need to raise in order to keep the hospital going? And I'll quickly just go to these statistics I was given over in Randolph at the St. Boniface office. Again, for those of you watching at home, St. Boniface Haiti Foundation at 14 Pond Lane in Randolph. But I had to do that. But for last year, in 2005, the hospital's operating expenses were $680,000. If we go to the amount of patients seen this year, from 2005 to 2006, it has doubled. And we have, last year, for instance, in the month of March, we had 57 inpatients. We have 108 this year. We had 59 last year, 102 in April. We saw 4,161 people this year and only 1,993 last year. What this means is that people are coming from all over the place to come to Fondé Blanc for their medical care because there's no other option. If we had all the money we needed, if we had Bill Gates behind us, we would be expanding and making hospitals in other areas. For now, we're just trying to control the amount of people who are coming, so it means expansion of the hospital, and it'll mean an expansion on that $680,000. Now, we have a fundraising office, but it's going to be really hard to meet that if we don't have some serious help. The question is, do we think eventually that Haiti could have a viable economy? Il pose question ça. Est-ce que vous pensez dans l'avenir Haïti capable de développer économiquement ou bien est-ce que c'est impossible?
Oui, il y a espoir.
Yes, there is hope. Lots of it.
Et nous sommes capables de dire, c'est ça que fait Fondé Blanc qu'on y a là, avec gens organisés qu'on y a là, ils viennent tourner un centre de pilotes. Il y a un pilote pays, un pays qui veut venir regarder ça, Fondé Blanc fait, parce que nous même pas organisé nous, et même pour aller de l'autre côté pour aller faire, parce qu'il y a un pays qui vient visiter, l'autre pays en Haïti qui vient visiter.
Brielle says that the great thing about Fondé Blanc is that it's become almost like a pilot center for Haiti, and that people can come from around Haiti and see the great things that are going on in Fondé Blanc and take those ideas back home and try and find the funding for that, whether it's from the international community, the state, or other NGOs within Haiti. I know for us, we see Partners in Health as a great friend and a great mentor, and so we're able to go up to Partners in Health We were there a couple times during the last 3 months to see what they're doing. They invited us up to see what they're doing. And Paul Farmer will show us all the different projects and then give us ideas, like the AIDS project and the social services project for AIDS patients that they've done, and we try to bring them and find the funding for Fondé Blanc.
Ma font remarque pour nous. En société, c'est deux instances dans notre société qui mènent, qui fait société avec nous. C'est l'Église et puis c'est l'État.
He says in Haiti, he has a remark he wants to make. In Haiti, there are two things that people rely on: the church and the state.
L'Église toujours fait moral monde, mais l'État toujours en conflit. L'État censé venir démissionner.
He says the church continues to work and try to work, but the state, we feel like it's collapsed.
Et c'est ça que fait Fondé Blanc, nous grouper nous en association, parce que pour faire développement, il faut avoir un monde pour parler avec. C'est ça que fait chaque dernier samedi en rattrape, nous rassemblons tout le monde pour parler avec eux, pour montrer le droit avec des droits.
He says that's why we in Fondé Blanc have taken it upon ourselves to organize our own cooperative, our own grassroots cooperative, and replace the state and do what the state should be doing. If the state had money from international donors, that's an aside from me. But for Brielle, he feels like the grassroots cooperative is the most important way to show people their rights and their responsibilities as citizens. And that's why he feels that there's so much stability within Fondé Blanc politically. The question was, the existing state, is that primarily the Port-au-Prince government, and does that cause interference with our group? Il pose une question ça. Il dit, est-ce que l'État là, c'est nos Port-au-Prince lié? Et est-ce que ça a un problème dans Fondé Blanc? Et est-ce qu'il y a un conflit avec nous dans Fondé Blanc? Il n'y a pas remis Rattrap, parce que Rattrap presque remplacé l'État.
Normalement, nous avons depuis en 1994, nous pas gain presque présence parce que même police pas gain dans Fondé Blanc. Alors c'est organisation, c'est nous-mêmes dans l'organisation qui ont arrangé toutes les choses parce que nous parlons avec tout le monde, nous parlons avec eux. La caille, nous parlons avec eux. L'encombite, nous parlons avec tous côtés pour montrer pour capable marcher. On doit chemin pour pas aucun bouleversement qui est capable de contagier pour capable venir un apaisement social capable.
He says, yes, the state is based in Port-au-Prince, and that's where it's very centralized, and there's an issue of decentralization that needs to be addressed. But the state hasn't really recognized Fondé Blanc for quite a while, 1994, he feels, and even earlier. And so it's basically up to the local population to organize themselves, and they kind of stay out of the local population's business. As an aside, and I didn't mention this during the talk, and I think it's important, and I promised some prisoners in Aken, which is right near Fondé Blanc, that I would talk on their behalf tonight. And I hope there's some people at home watching as well. Brielle and I went to visit Aken, which is a state prison. In the government that we had with La Tortue before Preval, this is not really Preval's problem, the government we had before Preval really did not do the work they should have done. And the United Nations is not doing the work they should be doing either. And there's a human rights organization that's sponsored by the United Nations. I mean, it's their Declaration of Human Rights. And they have not published anything on the local prison in Aken. And Brielle and I visited the local prison in Aken at the police chief's invitation. This is where people from Fondé Blanc would go. And it's basically 45 people living in 4 separate closets in Aken. This is to talk about, mostly to say, this is what happens when it's the poorest of the poor. And although it's difficult to hear and talk about, these people exist, and that's why we feel we need to talk about them. 45 people in closets, and there's no light. They are given 1 gallon of water per day for their drinking and bathing needs, and they are also, they're never let out of the prison cell, and they have to go to the bathroom in the prison cell. And the 2 things they requested, which shows how far they've gone, they've fallen, and they were very happy to see us, and so was the police chief. And I think the state would be happy that we went to visit this as well, because I think the issue here is the international community not stepping up to the plate for Haiti. It sounds like it is in the news all the time, but it's not. And I think the state is not at fault. I think it's the international community here, because the state doesn't have the means to do it. But they only ask for soap and toothpaste and toothbrushes, and they ask for one more bucket per cell so that 2 people can go to the bathroom at the same time. So the state has fallen to that kind of a level, and it's people at the very lowest rung that suffer. So I just wanted to add that as an aside. I'm sorry, there's lots of hope in Fondé Blanc, and there will be hope for the prisoners as well, because we will do what we can to make sure that the situation changes. But I felt I owe it to them to mention that.
Why are they in jail?
The question is, why are they in jail? That one I won't answer on television. Some of them are, I think there's big news made about national political prisoners worldwide. Amnesty International talks about national political prisoners all the time, puts them up there, but nobody really talks about local political prisoners. Young guys who maybe stole a goat, and the guy had a problem with their family, and now they're in jail for 2 years and not seeing a judge without a trial. My mother asked this question, and the question is, could we pace off a space for where 13 prisoners and at one time 25 prisoners lived within this jail of 4 cells? Livre ou marché non façon pour montrer yo placa côté prisonnier qu'on rete. Si vous marchez pour montrer yo espace là, seulement marcher à pied, peut-être vous marcher devant là pour les caouer.
Oui, peut-être espace là.
Brielle will walk it off for you. Yeah. He said maybe 3 meters, 3 meters up across, and so that means that a lot of the prisoners all the prisoners they rotate through who sleeps, who stands, who sits. So they rotate through during the day. The question is, do we find tuberculosis to be a main issue in Fondé Blanc? I think our answer usually, and I'll let Brielle answer after, I think our answer usually is that poverty is the main problem. Tuberculosis comes out of the poverty. Tuberculosis is a main issue, malaria is a big issue, all the infectious diseases, typhoid, and tuberculosis also walks with HIV. You know, it's an opportunistic infection that a lot of the HIV patients that we have, positive patients that we have, get. So yes, it's definitely a serious issue, but there's plenty of issues. I think, you know, we've brought everybody down with the prison talk, but I think the great thing about Fondé Blanc is that there really is hope. And with the right funding, lots of things take off. And we have everything in place for things to take off, even with the prison. But it comes down to funding. And the amazing thing is that St. Boniface, we try to get grants, and I won't quote Paul Farmer on this one. I saw him in the airport in Port-au-Prince. But we were talking about some of the other NGOs in Haiti. And it's a nightmare because they're not doing the work they should be doing. For us, we really, it's hard for us to get grants because we're kind of in the middle. So right now we're relying on private donors in order to get us up to the point where we can get the bigger grants from Gates and the Global Fund. We will work on those things, but we really do rely on private donors to reach those goals. Et Brielle, je pose une question ça. Est-ce que vous pensez que la tuberculose c'est le plus gros problème qu'il y a en Haïti? Moi-même, je dis non, c'est la misère qui cause ça.
Oh oui, c'est la misère. Parce que si vous regardez la photo, il y a un côté minorité, ce n'est pas côté un monde chrétien vivant à dorité. Les gens dorment un côté qui mal comme ça, fait mal respiration, toute une courbe. S'il prend tuberculose, c'est la misère qui cause de prendre tuberculose.
Brielle says he would agree that poverty would be the main issue in town, the main health issue in town. He says if you look at some of those houses, it's no wonder that we have a tuberculosis problem because people are living in such close quarters and they don't have the ventilation that they should have. And Brielle actually wanted to make sure that everyone saw this picture. This is a house that he wants to work on in terms of rebuilding. And this is 7 people in one house here. This is in the center of town. And there's many other houses like that, but this is Brielle and I believe very strongly, as is St. Boniface, in small victories. And they add up, and they add up, and they add up. And that's why we're hopeful, and that's why we continue to work. So, and that's the inside of the house as well. Ironically, an American flag bag of rice inside. He says, no one should have to live there. Great question. The question is about schooling and what kind of education do children receive in Fondé Blanc, even if they are able to receive schooling. I'll let Brielle take that one.
Et nous avons été en pile, fond des blancs. Parce que pour une population peut-être de 45 000 personnes, et peut-être année 1930, peut-être là ça a été 20 000 personnes dans le fond des blancs. C'était sous l'occupation américaine, ils ont fait une seule école, presque pour tout environ, tout fond des blancs avec tous aux environs pour la dame qui est capable de recevoir seulement 400 personnes.
Brielle says that we are very late in Fondé-Blanc in the education game. Fondé-Blanc is 45,000 people. Et combien l'école dit?
Longtemps, c'est une seule école qui était gagnée.
There used to be one school.
Et ce qu'on y a là, c'est un paquet l'école, c'est grâce à l'église, l'école presbytérale. C'est celle l'école l'État gagne. Et l'autre école, c'est l'école presbytérale, c'est presque l'église protestante ou bien catholique qui fait.
He says, and what you'll find is that a lot of these schools are private schools. There's only one school for the state, and even that one you have to pay for to go to. But all these schools are NGO-sponsored schools, and that's what the students rely upon.
Et ce qu'on y a là, nous arrivons en seconde, parce que longtemps c'est seulement certificat, c'est qu'on y a là, et Fondé Blanc arrivé en seconde. Après ça, si on est à l'école, c'est Port-au-Prince, on est obligé d'aller. Et parfois, parents n'ont pas de moyens pour ouvrir une petite école Port-au-Prince.
He says, and small victories again, step by step with St. Boniface, they now are able to have some students who go up to their junior year of high school, that they have 5 years of high school, so the equivalent of their junior year of high school, and they hope to arrive at the point where people can graduate from high school in Fondé-Blanc, funds that you had before and more. So that's why, as he says, that's why we're here, partially.
Et on l'autre bagaille, m'a signalé, non? C'est ça fait. Ce qu'on y a là, peut-être sous droit Timoun, nous faisons l'autre organisation que les COSIDEF, c'est comité de surveillance des droits des enfants restés avec l'enfant de blanc. Parce que parfois, les Timoun, quand Timoun le bail à l'état au monde, et puis mon côté à l'état fait le travail, il ne pas mettre l'école. Nous faisons un comité pour surveiller ça. Si on prend Timoun au état, il faut que Timoun soit obligé de voir Timoun à l'école. C'est ça.
Brielle says, no, there are all aspects, or is what St. Boniface tries to hit all aspects of life, and so does Ratchet the Peasant Cooperative, all aspects of poverty. And one of the issues in Haiti, which is a phenomenon, a terrible, terrible phenomenon in Haiti, is the Restavek situation. The Restavek means literally live with, and it's actually parents who have problems paying for their kids to go to school or to feed their kids will send them to somebody else, to like a family member or a friend, hoping that they can go to school with that family or friend. And what ends up happening a lot of the time is those kids become kind of indentured slaves within the family. And there's about 300,000 of them in Haiti. Fondé-Blanc says, we won't stand for it anymore. They organized their own children's rights campaign within Fondé-Blanc with some funding from a human rights organization here in the United States to say that they're going to try and organize people to understand the problems of this system. And a lot of the times the system is families having those kids go and get water because their water is so far away. So as Brielle says, they want to move towards an organization that has the slogan of Abba System Reste Avec, or down with the Reste Avec system. Yeah. Yes.
I may have missed it, but is poverty a bigger problem now than it was 50 or 100 years ago?
Okay. Limonde, est-ce que, sorry for the television audience, hopefully you're there. The question was, is poverty a bigger problem now than it was 50 or 100 years ago? Et la question c'est, est-ce que la misère est plus mauvaise qu'on y a passé 50 ans passés ou bien 100 ans passés? Non, Haïti.
L'on a pu étudier économiquement. L'année 50, il dit pays d'Haïti était plus riche. Et il dit pays d'Haïti était qu'on vend produits pour 36 millions de dollars et il était qu'on achetait pour 30 millions. Il était qu'on fait 6 millions de bénéfices.
Said you can say economically Haiti was better in 1950. They actually they were selling about $6 million more worth of goods than they were buying in 1950.
Et il dit pays d'Haïti sont pays essentiellement agricoles. Richesse pays c'est dans l'agriculture ou fait et qu'on y a l'agriculture pas marché dans le pays.
He said before in the 1950s, agriculture was holding the population together, and now the agricultural system does not work anymore.
Le Christophe Colomb, en 1492, t'es débarqué dans le pays, il était venu dans le pays, t'es net couvert avec bois, avec toute qualité de pied fruits là-dedans.
He says, when Christopher Columbus came to Haiti in 1492, we're going farther back than 100 years, and we won't go through the whole history, but when Christopher Columbus came in 1492, the country was covered in trees, and it was called the Pearl of the Antilles, the most beautiful island in the Caribbean.
Et études ont fait là, nous arrivons en 1950, tu as seulement été 56% forêt qui était dans le pays.
And in the 1950s, we had 56% of the forest was all that was left of all the forests that were there before.
Et là, nous arrivons là, en 1986, tu était seulement 4%.
And in 1986, after Duvalier regime, there were only 4% of the forest left in Haiti.
Et qu'on y a là, seulement toute étude fait dans toute forêt qui est dans le pays, pied bois, tout pied bois fin coupé, c'est 2% crédit.
And now only 2% are left. And in Fontainebleau, though, the amazing thing is that there is a big forest cover, just an aside.
Et depuis le pays a été fin dégradé, qu'on y a la pluie pas tombé parce que pas garosage, ce pays gagne un pile monde là-dedans, qu'on y a là manger vient pas donner, moun yo pas gagne rien pour vendre, ça vient cause qu'on y a là moun yo vient tomber dans la misère.
He says the breakdown of the agricultural system meant that people couldn't sell anything and market anymore. They couldn't buy the staples that they needed to support their diet, and they can't send their kids to school anymore. So that breakdown in the agricultural economy has meant devastation for the Haitian people.
Alors ça fait ça qu'on y a là, c'est parce que nous pas gagne rien comme produit pour le pays d'Haïti exporter. Seulement le pays d'Haïti a acheté tout sans qu'il pas gagné pour vendre, qui fait des jours le pays a bien entré dans la misère.
It's a lack of exports now from Haiti, and the issues of security and being able to have places where we can actually export food, and also the issues of deforestation, but especially an issue of security, meaning that they're now bringing in all the importing tons and tons of things to try and keep the economy going. One of the biggest thing that keeps Haiti going is remittances from Haitians living abroad. Haitians in Dorchester, Haitians in Randolph, Haitians in New York. That's what keeps the economy going. I don't know if it's a question, it's a statement that I'm very excited about. And the statement was at 14 Pond Lane, St. Boniface Haiti Foundation in Randolph. The question said, or the statement was that it's understood that a lot of the money, the vast majority of the money that's given goes straight to the people, and it's a very well-run organization. And I've been working as a volunteer for the last 3 years there, and I can say, as somebody who's trying to do volunteer work and believes strongly in this, it doesn't work for very much, nothing, that money does go to the people, and the money that is donated will go to the people. One of the things that's going on over there is a government that could, the question was, sorry. The question was, can Haiti's agricultural economy bounce back? The Dominican Republic is green on one side, Haiti, sand-covered hills, mountains on the other side, although that picture's not taken near where Fontainebleau is, so it's a bit of a different scene. But the question is, what's going on in the Dominican that is not going on in Haiti? And also, can the economy recover? I'll give my thought and then pass on to Brielle. For me, I think the issues are that, and I'm not an agronomist, so I can't speak completely on this, but there's issues of crop yields in Haiti. And there's no fertilizer in Haiti, there's no irrigation. So if you were to build up an irrigation system and to have fertilizer coming into the country at a low cost, I think the agriculture economy could bounce back. There's an article by Jeffrey Sachs from Columbia University Earth Institute that talks about Haiti's agricultural economy, and he talks about those two things, as big as the Haitian agricultural economy can bounce back, and the new president, who we believe in an awful lot, who is from the Hope Party, President Preval, really believes very strongly in bringing the agricultural economy back, and he's done it in his own hometown. And he'll probably be looking at places like Fontainebleau, where now in Fontainebleau there's over 1,000 goats sold in the marketplace every Friday at the market. La question c'est, est-ce que vous pensez l'agriculture qui a revenu dans Haïti, est-ce qu'il a marché encore dans Haïti, système agricole dans Haïti. Et est-ce que vous pensez, qui ça Dominicani gagne? Non, Dominicani qui fait Libyen pied bois et Haïti pas gagné. C'est qui a gagné une réponse pour ça.
Nous avons un problème dans son problème de la misère.
Haitian problem is a problem of poverty, and he also, I think, will go into the issue of a revolving door of governments.
We also don't have baseball.
Et nous pas gagner baseball tout.
Non. Et nous, je dis, toute recherche qui fait, je dis, dans les années 50, années 40, et Haïti était plus riche passé Saint-Domingue.
In the 40s and 50s, Haiti had more money than the Dominican.
Quand on est arrivé, les Duvalier arrivé en 57, il était venu fermer tout port qui pouvait exporter, et puis il a fini tout pour vider à Port-au-Prince.
It says you had in 1957 when François Duvalier or Papa Doc came to power. You had the issue of people fleeing the country, and the dictatorship took over, and a complete economic down spiral.
Et parce que le président son président dictateur, il y a pile d'autres pays qui ont acheté marchandises qui ont des gens qui mettent une sorte d'embargo sur le pays.
There was an embargo on Haiti economically through the dictatorship.
Parce que nous-mêmes, dans le fond des Blancs, là, je dis, les petits moun petit papa me dit son pays était riche parce que c'était une plantation que les Cisal, Pit, et c'est lui qu'on a acheté pour faire code, pour faire ficelle. Tout pays étranger qu'on a acheté, mais sous Duvalier, ça était bon, qui a une ferme.
So there was, before Haiti was relying heavily on peat production, and under Duvalier that fell off enormously, and peat was used to make rope internationally, and Haitians would survive off of the money they were getting from peat production. But now you don't even see that. That doesn't exist in Haiti anymore. And one of the reasons is the dictatorship, and aside the other reason probably is that they went to synthetic rope worldwide, and that cut off things as well.
Alors, c'est politique qui fait situation politique pays, qui fait déjouer pays à Abdera. Mais nous-mêmes, c'est expérience ça, nous voulons faire un enfant de blanc, nous voulons en organisation, c'est ça que nous avons l'autre bail de fonds, tant que PADF, nous demandons que tu connais des plantes pieds bois, ou fond de blanc pour passer pieds bois, gain l'autre organisation tout tant que catholique relève service CRS qui connaît aider plantes pieds bois, nous, on dit gens et à garder politique de côté, mais en organisation, on travaille pour nous réformer le pays. Et puis l'autre, pour l'autre pays qui a pris exemple pour nous, sous nous, mais pour nous-mêmes.
I'll paraphrase. Again, superhuman translating, I'll try. Brielle says the issue is an issue of politics, an issue of a lack of democracy, and an issue of coups d'etats for many years. And Brielle says, but where the hope is in the people. The people have not given up hope in Fondé Blanc. They have not given up hope throughout the country, that they continue to try to find life. And he also says that's why in Fondé Blanc we have come together, grassroots, real true democracy, real true participation, and also transparency, so that they now have hope and can move forward with the right funding. They've gotten funding for the Pan American Development Fund. They've tried to get funding from Catholic Relief Services, which we get funding from as well. I mean, we do get some outside funding, and they've also rely on the back of St. Boniface. The question was, if we were to provide better water sources within Fondé Blanc, and we're going to team up with an organization called Water for Life near Fondé Blanc, but it hasn't dug any wells. We met with them, and we have a system of what we want to set up for wells. And in fact, for wells in Fondé Blanc and pumps, it costs about $3,000 to $5,000 to have to drill 200 feet. Otherwise, it would be less expensive. For us to have water in the center of town, for instance. And the question is, how can we make those sustainable? And I'll leave that one to Brielle, although we've talked about this a lot. So, Brielle, maman me pose la question, est-ce que vous pensez, qui ça vous pensez nous qu'a fait pour qu'un projet de l'eau dans Fondé Blanc? Et est-ce qu'il y a une façon pour la communauté à qu'un projet de l'eau si on fait pire avec pompe?
Oui, nous sommes capables de faire comité. Dans chaque côté de pompe, nous mettons des comités. Et puis, le comité, ça pour capable de la relève, pour qu'il y ait continuité. ils sont capables de contribuer les gens viennent prendre l'eau, prendre un petit cop mettre dans la caisse et puis les pompes les gâter pour être capable de venir l'argent, aller côté Water for Life pour retourner venir manger pompe.
He says, from within Rat Trap, we'll have committees for each water pump, and each area of town will identify their water problems, send letters, and if they can't write letters, we'll go out and we'll write letters for them. We'll form their own committees for each water source, and they'll be responsible for taking care of those water sources, and they'll also be responsible for getting money from remittances from their family abroad to pay Water for Life for repairs. So, yes, they will be sustainable. The question is, why should we care about Haiti? With a smirk. Pour qui ça, nous besoin occuper Haïti? Pour qui ça, nous besoin penser à Haïti? Pour qui ça, Haïti est important? Brielle doesn't really understand the question. He says, but he'll try.
Ok. Nous capables de dire Haïti, c'est un pays l'enquête Amérique là.
Haiti is a country in the heart of the Americas.
Et nous faisons partie de l'Amérique et c'est son pays seul avec tout l'autre pays en Amérique là.
We are a sister country to all the other countries within the Americas, and we're very close to the United States.
Si on a concorde, gain moun qui gain problème et que le problème là a affecté tout l'autre monde.
He says, if in Concord someone has a problem, that problem might affect other people within Concord.
Et nous capables de dire politique pays d'Haïti associée avec politique l'autre grand pays qui est en Amérique, tout sont politiques qui marient ensemble, on va étudier ça.
If you look at the politics of the Americas, Haiti is very much intertwined in the politics of the Americas and in the politics of our own country, here in the United States.
Alors, nous sommes obligés de travailler pour faire l'Amérique des jours une plus grande, pour faire l'Amérique des jours une plus belle, pour le monde qui est dans le continent, capable de vivre plus à l'aise, pour nous sentir capable de vivre en tant que monde.
We're all members of the Americas, and we all have a responsibility to each other, to help each other live like people should live. And everyone has a right to that to a life of at least a base of human rights. Yes, you may clap now. Thank you very much. I guess this will conclude the talk for tonight. Again, it's the St. Boniface Haiti Foundation at 14 Pond Lane in Randolph, Massachusetts. And it's a 501c3, and you get a tax rebate in the mail. And the webpage is www.haitihealth.org. Or you can reach me on my cell phone at 978-505-5113. So Connor Shapiro and Brielle Levy. Thank you.